Alright. Twitches don't seem to be working. There it goes. Alright, we're out here at the space station I constructed. Not too fancy, but we're getting it put together little by little. We have the refiners and the smelters in and a couple assembly units. There's no ore on the station. I have not filled anything up yet. But such is life. Let's turn. We got it on. We'll go up to the final level here. And up here we have refueling chemical stations. So again, there is no resources on the station at the moment. It's a work in progress. We're going to head out to Thades and go mining is what we're going to do. Let's turn the grid off. And we're going to go up to the top. Let's just say we got a hatch here. Close the hatch. I have some lights on the top of the station to help bring you in, but as you can see, we have a docking pad. So, what can I say? We should be able to pop right up here on this, maybe. Or we'll turn the grid on. We might have to turn the grid on. So we'll turn the grid on here. Screw trying to. Alright, we're going to head out to Thades. Do a little mining. We'll see if we can't. Let's see if we can see what we're doing here. Let's back it up. We'll turn off the HUD. Anyway, here is an outside view. It's a medium core. It's not huge. Let's see if we can get off the station. And we can. Put the gear up. And we'll slowly get away from the station here, and we'll turn around and take a look-see. And I do have thrusters all over this ship, so there we go. Now what I don't like is we can't change view, and it doesn't stay there, but we can go down. If I do these things, it just doesn't, I don't know. I might be asking too much. Whoops. But as you can see, nothing fancy. But it's still got the lower level to do. Materials, materials, materials. I've been taking them from, and it is identifiable. Once again, you come to a dead stop, it still starts drifting. Now, I don't know why that would be. Do the lights show up very good when you're off the station? No, they don't. Well, I guess they do. It's the angle of the dangle. Maybe I should put the pole lights on there. See them better from a distance. Alright, let's find out where we're going. Firefox wants to download the latest version. I got two open. That's why you can't, you fool. Alright. Turn our HUD back on. back to our... And we'll burn the thieves. You know, I'm not impressed with the mouse control. We have no joysticks. I guess there ain't a whole lot we can do about it, but yeah. I'm not a big fan of games that force you to use mouse and keyboards to do any type of flying. Hell, even Xbox controllers are an improvement as far as I'm concerned. Trying to make you fly with a mouse and keyboard just seems kind of stupid. But that's how they decided it, so I guess that's what we're stuck with. Guess that's what we're stuck with. And you can't rearrange your HUD without being a damn Lua expert. That's another thing. See, the HUD is always in your way. There's plenty of screen, but yet you can't rearrange it. I don't understand. Like I say, there are things I definitely don't like. I got to learn how to Lua program to be able to arrange a simple HUD. Just seems kind of fucking counterintuitive. What can you say? For the most part, I really like the game. It's interesting, it's fun. But there are things that I think, you know what, these people are really just lazy. Because movable elements on your HUD, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you have an attractive HUD, it's not blocking your view, there's nothing wrong with not being able to move it around. But all these people did have put up standard windows that are locked in place and you cannot move around. And as you can see, it covers up half the screen. Now, I'm on a widescreen monitor. I can imagine how crowded it would be if you're on 16.9 aspect. This is an ultra wide. It still takes up half my damn screen. So it'll be, you know what, I like I say, I don't understand that line of reasoning. From what I've read, they haven't said anything about doing anything about it, so obviously it's not on their list. So I can't say it's all peaches and cream. I think it's just lazy programming. It's easy, just throw it up there. We don't care. You figure it out yourself. That's what we're charging you for. And I don't even know that you can rearrange it with Lua. I don't know that for a fact. I'm not a programmer. So. But I think it sucks the way it is. They probably don't like me saying that, but I'm sorry. It's really kind of trashy. If you're going to put all that different kind of shit up there, you need to be able to rearrange it. A lot of little pet peeves I have. Radars. They got two different kinds of radars in the game. I don't have a problem with that, so you got to make an extra radar. The trouble is, you need one radar. You can only, first of all, they force you to use two different kinds. Okay. But you can only use one at a time per chair. Tell me that makes sense. The only way for me to switch to atmospheric radar is for me to stop the ship, get out of the ship, and change the links. Okay? That's the only way. Now, the other trouble is that your control seat does not control, you cannot shoot your weapon. So you need chairs, gunner chairs, which is fine. Once again, one radar to chair. So if you have 3 chairs like I do, I have to have a radar for each chair. So as you can see, the top of my ship is covered with radars. Now, why can't you use one radar for every installation? But no, each chair has to have its own radar. And once again, to be able to use both, you have to stop your ship, get out of it, and change them physically. Very piss poor design. Don't care what they say. People make, white knights make excuse for them. It's not a big deal. Yes, it is a deal. If you have a ship that goes into atmosphere and goes into space, you should be able to use the damn radars. Well, you're right. If you got a space-only fighter, you're not going to need an atmospheric, And if you're got an atmospheric fighter that don't go in space, well, you don't need a space radar. But you have haulers and other ships that transit back and forth. Part of the game, you have to have them, and by damn, they ought to be able to use radars, because if you use one on the ground, as soon as you get in space, it's no good. You're now flying blind. You got to stop and EVA out of your ship and physically change the links. Just bad design. Don't care what they say. Bad design. Or they're lazy. I don't know. Maybe it's just that they're lazy. Whatever it is. Like I say, I have pet peeves that I just think, you know what? What kind of moron came up with this? Because that's all it is. And you have the white knight say, oh, it's just not it's not an issue. Now, I really can't put extra chairs on my ship, more chairs. I can't put first of all, weapons go to one chair. Can't one chair. If you got 3 chairs, you've got to have separate weapons for every one of them. Nothing's interchangeable, and that's fine as far as the guns go. Got a small set of lasers, goes to one chair. Got a small set of cannons, they go to one chair. I got medium-sized cannons, they go to another chair. Okay, I got 3 chairs. My weapons are all ready to fire. However, I can't put friggin' radars on them. That makes absolutely no sense. I have to have over a half dozen of radars, and then still I can't use half of them, because without physically changing them back over. There you go. How's that for brilliance? And you know what the White Knights are saying? Well, it doesn't really matter at the moment because there's no PvP in the atmospheres. Doesn't make any difference whether it's allowed yet. It will be allowed. Why wouldn't you program it that way? Oh, we're going to rewrite the whole code just to fix the radar? Like I say, bad design. You do something right the first time, it's not an issue. Don't pull Chris Roberts bullshit and do shit half-ass all the time and then complicate it every time you put a patch in. That's what Chris Roberts does. Chicken shits everything together. Doesn't work, it's got bad frame rate. Then you got to put up with the bad press. For what it's worth. But I am having fun with the crafting. I'm having fun with the design aspect. Not going to be for everybody. I like the space flight model. Don't much care for how it acts in the atmosphere because even with lift and wings, they don't act like airplanes. Trust me. It flies like a spaceship in atmosphere, or whether it's in atmosphere or in space, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what they came up with. But the space flight model I like. It acts like a spaceship. Like I say, I'm not impressed with the way the ships work in the atmosphere. I think they got lazy, made one size fit all. But I do like the way the ships fly in space. You feel like it's a spaceship. Momentum is everything in space. You have to break your momentum to change, just like right now. I'm on a trajectory. I cannot change my trajectory until I slow down and have enough thrust to overcome the direction I'm going. Just like you would going to the moon, going to Mars, you have to plan ahead. You have to course adjust. You're going so fast. Like right now, I am going just almost max speed. I am going so fast that I cannot change my direction. It's not going to change. I am locked in until I get down out of what I'm not. I don't even know what you'd call this warp, because we actually have warp drive in the game. I don't have it yet. It's very expensive to make, resource wise. But we have it, so I don't know that I would call this warp. I don't know, maybe, I think 30,000 kilometers is, well, I guess we're going to light speed. I guess when you reach 29.999 kilometers an hour, I guess they consider that light speed. So maybe we're going light speed. I don't know. But we're not actually in warp. We actually have warp in the game. I've never done it, so I don't know what it's like, but we do have warp. And the thing about warp is you have to have a beacon to warp to. You just can't warp willy-nilly around, which is fine. However, the way the game is set up, you can only put a warp beacon in a large space construct, or a space station, large. First of all, very few people right now can build a large station unless they're a guild, organization, guild, whatever you want to call them here in this game. I'm building a medium. It's a big station, as you can see, and it's not even half done. It's a big station. Now, why can't I put a warp beacon inside that station to warp to it? Well, because it's a medium, and we only allow it to large. Well, see, you're telling me that I have to join an org and then I have to worry about where their stations are, or you can't warp. Like I say, there's little pet peeves that I just don't quite agree with. I like the idea you build your own ships, build your own space station. It's a lot of fun. Some of these guys are really good at shaping these voxels and making these ships look amazing. Yeah, my buddies have told me, I'm a Lego block builder. I build Legos, and I have fun with it. I don't care. It's not all shapely and sexy looking. You know what I mean? But it works good. It flies good. I've got the engineering down on it. That it actually works really good for me. One thing you gotta know, once you reach max speed, there's no sense burning your fuel. Just go ahead and zero your throttle. You'll maintain. In fact, once you get over 10 kilometers an hour, pretty much it will hold speed when you back the throttle off. You do not have to max speed it to go anywhere. Sometimes it's more economical not to, or not even try, because you don't hold enough fuel to be able to kick it up there. Also want to remember that brakes in this game are very important. I don't care if you're in the atmosphere or you're in space. In space, you have retro rockets. In the atmosphere, you have air brakes. Put them on your ship, lots of them, and use them. Now, in space, you can flip and burn. Does the same thing as the retro rockets, of course. You can flip, ignite your engines 180 degrees. It will slow you down. However, you have to do the maneuver to be able to do it. You have to get good at it. It does work. It's the way I originally did it, and I finally said, screw this. I can put in retro rockets, and I don't have to do this anymore. To get that much thrust, you have to add more than 1 or 2 retro rockets. I got a ton. As you can see, I got 4 on the nose there. I have 4 back, 2 smaller ones. This thing has a lot of retro rockets on it. But I can stop faster than I can accelerate, which works for me. The top stabilizer's on there to keep it from drifting in the atmosphere because it gets slippery and slidery. The faster you go, it starts flying sideways. The ship likes to fly sideways in the atmosphere regardless. Like I say, the ship acts in atmosphere like it does in space. So, yeah. Like I say, it's the same flight models, and it works really well in space, but it's really kind of sad in the atmosphere. It works. You learn to adapt. It's not, it's not like you can't do it. But if you're thinking that because you're in atmosphere and you have lifts and all this stuff, it flies like an airplane, no, it doesn't. It still flies like a spaceship even when you're in the atmosphere. I think if they're going to add all the atmospheric aspects like lift and all this shit into the game, they ought to program it into the game. You see what I'm saying? You're going to convince people these are airplane like atmosphere flyers, you should do that. But no. Landing's a little tricky till you get used to it. There's no rolling landing. They want you to vertical land, but they don't give you very good tools to do it because, like I say, you have to counteract gravity and lift to be able to land, and you're in a spaceship. You can make VTOL craft, but they're very expensive fuel-wise. To be able to VTOL lift and not use wing lift, aileron lift, you have got to burn a lot of fuel. So it's really just not practical. I mean, you can do it. I made a ship that was 100% VTOL into space, but you know what? We just crashed. But the time you get into space, you're out of fuel. The game just crashed. Now, it doesn't normally do that. I don't know what the issue here was, and I really get tired of sending in crash reports. Just seems to get old. And I usually only crash when it loads. That's the only time mine loads. See, it's asking me what I'm doing, and there's nothing up here that I was doing. So, I mean, you know what? They give you a list. You can't type in. Like I say, in many ways, these guys are brilliant, and they're idiots. We'll see if it'll load. It may not load back up, and I may have to start. And it may have been the server crashed. Well, there's no line in the queue, so. Now, the trouble is we will now re-enter the game, and the burn I made to get where I was, I am now dead in space, and it's crashing again. So, yeah. Yeah. Now, this may be the servers just took a jump. And I'm tired. I'm not even. I get tired of crash reports. They don't pay any attention to them, as far as I can tell.